Let's see.
Time to find out. And we're starting
and there's
on
Breeze Band.
Ascent.
I think
right?
it's a time to play it safe. Like if
Yeah,
you're big and if you're BBL, you're fighting for what?
I don't like the map picks. Ascent into Haven. This is like when you look at the records of the maps, the first two. Essentially, BBL likes those picks, and this is like big picks into BBL right here.
How many times have we seen teams picking Ascent and facing the other teams starting on the defense? Actually, the three maps that we're going to have, the chance that the teams have had to choose the side, it's going to be defense. The side has been crucial here on VCT, and I think it could be the difference maker here because, as Lothar was saying, we have seen BBL play in here. The defense against Navi wasn't the best, but they picked this map against Guild, and even though they didn't take the win, it was very close. It was a 10-13.
I feel like this is a little bit of confidence speaking from the previous match against Meg coming from Big, right? Because they won on Ascent, and it was looking pretty, well, awesome. But the problem is that I felt like Meg was always kind of mediocre on this map. I don't think so.
That's a composition.
Yeah,
no chamber, no fade, keeping it simple. Maybe the difference is going to be the Astra and the Omen.
Yeah, I don't think there was going to be... Oh, wait.
No, he played on the...
Yeah, he played. I don't know why it was chamber there.
I mean, you were expecting these guys to keep it simple right here.
Yeah. I think that if it had worked, or if you have those reps to actually know what went wrong and what you have to change. To me, especially starting on the defense for BBL, is the way that Aslan is going to stronghold on A. He does it beautifully from tree. That is going to be crucial for Big to deal with.
There's the one big difference between those two teams right now. One has an Omen, more recurring smokes, more one-ways. On general in the map, you can stop the push from A short, you can stop the push from A main with very powerful one-ways. But Astra and Killjoy was a very powerful combo in the past, but now with only 4 stars, you might not have the same kind of flexibility that was required for that to work before.
All right, can Big take their first step towards that potential spot in the playoffs, or will BBL get off to the strongest start here on Ascent? Yesterday, when I introduced our casters, Mitch and Tom, I called them Titch. So this time, Mom. I guess, and Mom, I called them Mom as well. This time it's Pansy and Hypok, and I'm really excited to see these guys, aka Pypok. Hi, guys.
I don't know how I feel about it. It makes me think of Billy Piper. I don't know. How are you feeling?
He's tried something there, hasn't he, Lauren?
Yeah, he's getting a little creative.
Not sold on it just yet, Ian.
But you've got time. Plenty other options. And Mike, I think they highlighted it well, right? This is a big chance for Big, right? It's all on the line now. Quick expectation.
I mean, this is BBL stepped up last week for me, so this is really a challenge. Big for me have looked better every time we've seen them though. So this one is really it's up for the taking in my eyes, Lauren.
Well, let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. To expand on what you kind of talked about there, right? The idea that yes, BBL have gotten stronger, but Big in a similar suit as well, right? Like I think we've seen the resurgence of Big, and has anything directly stood out to you? I think to me, just to lean into it, is I'd say the mid-round calling. I think we saw the individual firepower looking okay for them a couple of times. We saw that start to really come together. My biggest worry was without someone like we know, Godby now being away from the roster, how did they look in their mid-round calls and such and so on? And I think that to me has actually been a really key factor looking good for them.
I think so too, and probably because it's been so, so high profile, right? It was the hot topic with this roster move was what Big was going to look like in terms of the structure, in terms of the fundamentals, those little things that we know Godby would have brought in terms of experience and that leadership role. But I mean, just to echo on that, Twiston. Man, Twiston has just looked insane consistently as well. Massive step up for that guy individually.
No, you're spot on. And we saw glimpses of it early, but it feels like he is happy to lead the way here. Insatiable in approach, and it looks like we're live into things, so let's not waste any more time ourselves here. Big on the attack, of course, that then means maybe on the defensive side, and it is for that real chance at the playoffs here for Big. For now, they will get the plant that they desire. The A site was always looking like it was being leaned for a retake regardless.
And interesting, Pora actually holding on to tree with a shorty here, so might even just be played out of this retake altogether, and this has got the classic swap out somewhere. I see actually, does have a classic in the back pocket to make sure he's still useful here. Actually going to be in position to catch this late lurk on short as well. Misashi will fall. Twiston is the second layer to that though, Lauren.
but would you expect a second layer? It looks like Pora may be considering it, or
He
an
is,
audio
yeah.
cue was heard. Something's given away this indication, and Twiston, a lazy clear, gives it up easily for Pora. So already, BBL, fantastic positioning, but they still need to get towards that plant. They still need to address that issue, and only Obnox, so far for Big, able to deny any of this. Aim VLL, he's sitting this one, and as much as Big can try, it doesn't matter. And Aslan's sharp today, but it's all for nothing. That is BBL with the first.
Great awareness from Pora as well. Not feeling any of that pressure on site actually does readdress that short lurk. It's the benefit of having that man advantage, right? Pora finds the first. They can actually invest somebody purely to explore short once again. So really heads up play from Pora individually. Again, not actually getting any value. We've seen him previously invest this kind of meat grind, a little TikTok setup here on the door, but only a little bit of chip damage done on Twister. I mean, actually makes the follow-up kill on short a little easier. You could put it that way.
Every little helps. Oh, that's a big tagline. Obviously, we're the first to do it.
Never heard that one before.
No. And Twiston, it may not be a shorty, but similar intention. And
I mean, with the way he's been playing, I'd almost rather not see him by the bucky, to be honest with you.
I tend to agree. Now, though, eyes towards BBL to see how much they can keep in check here. This isn't Big without any sort of investment. There's a couple of sheriffs. There is, as you noted, the Bucky coming out to play. So again, there is a little bit of danger here, and BBL giving away that they have got that Phantom on deck for Executioner.
Yeah, Executioner's got to be careful now. He's actually burnt up his dash already here. And with a couple of sheriffs in plays, an opportunity for him to be isolated. He's actually going to swing for the challenge, but Wallbang will connect it. Well, they're going to stack a couple of bodies up and try and remove this. The Executioner looking sharp and actually dealt with there. Aslan good for the swing though.
It might be worth pressuring this though. If they can try and get that Phantom away from BBL, that's prime target, prime territory in 30 seconds. I mean, I don't think you're going to get much else. Maybe a little bit of chip damage, Twiston. I'm looking to see what he can achieve here, but he's been kept in check by Pora. That's marking your man. This is a shutdown. So again, Phantom going to be picked up, kept in pocket. That's good news for BBL. That could have been a real nice little prize possession for Big if they could have maybe taken that away, but wasn't to be. So again, moving into the gun round now, bonus still going to be sat with BBL. Big, I want to see them come out swinging now once they get to these rifles.
And a couple of light armors here, just in favor of the utility. Side of BBL, yes, the Phantom to note, but decent progress early on for Kushner as well. So encroaching on that Blade Storm. We got to round three.
Oh, Mike, it's
It's so good to be back.
one of those days. Okay. The producer's telling me they've done this on purpose.
It's all our fault.
For us. Yeah, it's in our contract
that's
now.
what we were just told.
Thank you, Enrico. That's crazy that's happening, but hopefully whatever the issue is, it will be fixed up quickly. But we can then kind of lean a little bit more towards, I think Big's going to be the overall narrative that I guess we're going to be talking about throughout today anyway, right? Because they have the chance for playoffs, and honestly, the games they've been playing, obviously the mech win was exceptional, but I think we saw glimpses of that in the previous one. I think it was like Na'Vi and Guild, even in the losses, extremely competitive. But on the flip side of things, BBL, I think the desk was kind of calling it not necessarily a crisis, but the lack of an identity potentially to how they want to approach this. Do you echo that sentiment, or do you think there's other issues potentially?
I do. I also think there's been, in a number of series, a couple of the key stakeholders for BBL not delivering. I think that's fair to say. It's just a roster that has a hell of a lot of potential, a hell of a lot of talent on it. So hold that thought for a second, because Twiston tries to get ahead of that util dump in B main, but still punished for it. Again, cut away, separated there with the utility, so no chance of a trade coming through whatsoever, and a freebie for Pora.
And if Pora is going to be absolutely just marking Twiston throughout this game, that could be a huge loss for Big potentially. Now, again, it has been just a couple of maybe occurrences in the first few rounds, but that's certainly going to be a confidence knock to Twiston, who has been a huge proponent in Big's swing up in form. So this is a little bit of a...
Musashi's got to be careful there.
Yeah, I'm a little worried on this timing, and AimDLL reads it so well, punishes Aslan for being a little careless with the timing on this. Sitting in no man's land, and Pora overextends, clears as he goes. Now, they may note the player here, but again, he's done great work already. Let's see if the over-rotation comes in, though. So I'm curious to see how far Pora sits here. He's just going to sit towards CT, pops up old Tommy, and sits safe. I quite like this. And again, with no attention now noted towards that A site, you are going to start questioning things here if you are BBL.
Actually retrieving the orb, gonna get his lockdown online as well. So opportunity here for them to stack an extra body towards A and actually Turco towards
Big info.
Spawn here. So they can give this up. They have a massive tool at their disposal for the retake should they want to invest here. And it would be a great way to convert this round, honestly.
It looks like it's quite likely. You could see them instantly tempering the pace. Now, does Big find any picks early on? Anything to maybe navigate around this? Because what are you going to do about that lockdown? It's going to force them away from sight, clear close, and actually clear the corner on the way back through. So they can make early progress on the BBL side. So this is going to be Big, really in a bit of a spot of bother. Real back to the wall stuff, and utility not really hampering much. Pora noting the first, can't quite get it. The trade's good though. Turco right there. Flash underhand ready for Lucka. Gonna have to make some real value out of this thing, but turned already denies the defuse. But bodies are just not there. BBL, great retake, and honestly, Pora being critical to their success.
Absolutely. I mean, the protocol's just on point there for BBL. What they achieve in the early round, they actually pick up Twistin. They can peel away from that. They then retrieve the orb. They close the door on B and mark it, and they actually send an extra body across. The timing's perfect for the turret reset as well. Pora then can just play contact off that. He doesn't even need to challenge for the kill in that scenario. Really, really clean round from BBL, honestly. The approach was perfect.
And if we see, like, the one thing that worries me is that we all know the potential in the BBL roster, but we haven't seen it always, like, hit at the right time, if that makes sense. Like, things have just not quite lined up for them. Some individuals not firing. If Pora's starting to have a hot game, god damn, this is gonna be a hard one for Big. I genuinely a little worried if that's the case. But we wait and see, right? It's still early days. And for BBL, what an exciting prospect if they hit a little bit of a form streak towards the end of this. Could be the heartbreakers here. And for Big, money-wise, Mike, they're just going to have to cruise this one out.
Not an awful lot to work with. Not going to try and build upon Twistin to find something with that Marshall, but Sheriff offset it, and Turco absolutely isolated here. We'll find one follow-up with the drone here. Aslan got to peel back towards sight.
You don't get given these for free normally, so let's see what they can do with it. This is a big chance, a huge opportunity for them. And Lucka was trying to just hit the fanning on that, but it's Aslan, just comfy work. 3 picked up, and as soon as there was a moment of danger, you could see that the alarm bells were ringing. It was quick from BBL to adjust to make sure it was kept safe. And 4-0, Big need to get on the board here.
They do. Yeah, this is the buy round that ultimately we want to see them put something up here. You look at AIM-DLL 7,200 on the board. Turco struggling a little bit, but able to spread the wealth and actually get the operator online. This is a big purchase coming out for BBL. Again, a couple behind it. The ultimate's just about getting there as well.
Turret out.
AIM-DLL and Turco, the only ones yet to get it. Pora, so we know previously on that retake invested it, but round 5 here. Look at what's available for Big. Lucka, Obnox, and Aslan, their ultimates in play.
Ooh.
Really looking towards Lucka and Obnox to be the playmakers here, the ones to really make a difference on this round.
I was kind of curious because Aslan invested the knife cross-map to try and clear over towards A, and you could instantly see the reaction in kind, but didn't see them drift too far out from shore. I was wondering if maybe anyone's going to go challenging or over-exploring, and I was looking at Kushner, but instantly the utility went back in, and look at this mid-burst coming out from Big. Switch up of pace, and this could maybe pay dividends. They need a little something. Kushner now cut off, but they still have to crack the site.
Good trade.
Trade on the first. That's not bad, but they still need more. Kushner still denied time for the res. Back up on his feet. Luck has now joined the rest of the boys, but it's Turco still trying to just play his life, be a nuisance, be a problem, see if he can take anyone with him. Luck is going to punish Kushner on a bit of a wild swing, but it has set up for at the very least. And Turco is still an issue. Huge pickup, but he couldn't convert onto the second, and now leaving it in a 3v2.
Poor an AIM-DLL left to try and get something done here. Twistin down to 13 HP, still commits to that challenge. Hunter's Fury posted from backside. Pora opting to maybe try a flank here, but finds himself with a 1v3. It's doable, yeah. Obnox and Twistin, they're just one shot with the Vandal here. So actually, if you isolate Aslan first, he's going to be playing deep towards backside. Definitely doable in the retake here. Looks as if Pora's hesitant here, maybe just considering the save. I thought you maybe going to go for the operator there. He's tucked in close to spawn, but a little bit risky maybe.
The walk on that smoke from AIM-DLL, man, that felt like that's such a like a high risk coin flip.
I mean, it's almost like the stars align, right? It's twisted on the other side of it with 13 HP. So it's one of those plays that you almost never expect. You have to commit bodies to hold smokes now if teams start showing that a little early on in in matchups here, but Twiston delivers there. Like I said, it was actually commits to the hold. So Big do what's necessary. Needed to see them on the board, and they put their first up. It cost a fair bit. We'll see where the ultimates. Yes, Twisted and Musashi to come back in. I was talking about all three available for them. It takes all three investments to get that round on the board.
But I did like that pace change that we saw from Big. I like that little gear shift towards middle. I think that was a really nice approach for them. Just finding a little bit of a moment to try and isolate towards the side. And you saw the instant just pour of utility through towards CT just to keep Kushner from having any impact on it. I quite like what Big did there, but we have to see if they can do it again. This is still not going to be a comfortable game for them. As I imagine now, BBL will have to be very cognizant of the fact that that gear shift towards mid could come in, something they now need to be a little bit more aware of, as Kushner will be put to task to potentially deal with it again, because we're at the 1:25 marker, and already look at Twiston's progression. Sitting up right towards middle, going to deal with the turret as early as he can, and no trade off the back. I think the owl drone did just come out. It has. No one over towards B main, though, so that's going to be a little bit of assurance in the back of their mind that they can maybe focus towards middle.
Kushner wants the challenge. Yes, he still catches Twiston on the back of breaking the door. This is Big, making a big adjustment here. Got to stop with that.
Yep, we're all in it, mate. Don't worry, we're feeling it. But now look at the reposition now. I'm curious to see how much of a problem Aslan can make of himself. So far, zero. No, just absolutely none. So look at this positioning to try and cross through. It is just the perfect crossfire. You got Kushner tucked on site 2, sitting down by A main. It's beautiful. It could take a swing, but you can see them still trying to be smart about this. Spacing got a bit dangerous, but BBL are there, pushing out on the extremities, taking that control, Mike, and then look at it, the absolute reward of that positioning.
But basically, completely reset Big.
Yep.
I mean, I love that round coming out for them. After finding some success with that pace change in mid, they then adjust their early round protocols. They come through, they try and deal with all that utility they're expecting in mid, the alarm bot and somebody holding on to Marky. You can see the knife and the fragment coming through from Laka to clear out Pizza. Twisting gets right up, deals with the turret, then deals with the door as well. He's unlucky to be punished there from Kushner. It was a great peek from him, but you even noted it was at the 1:20 mark. Immediately the response is there after they find a little bit of value. So I do love that. That should keep BBL on red alert now. That it's an attempt from Big to maybe draw an extra man towards mid or towards that B site hold. Which is why I mean immediately we see them lean back towards short. That was always the end plan there. On the flip side of that as well, BBL adjusting to the correct position as well. The double stack towards main. They have an extra body come through from Kushner, like you said, setting up a textbook crossfire with Jen.
It's so hard to break that. Unless you saw Aslan do enough damage, maybe. I don't know. It's not going to be a comfy game, is it? But 5-1, we also have to note that Twiston's having a quiet game, and I wouldn't necessarily put it all on his own shoulders. It does feel as though he has just been having someone like Pora just breathing down his neck for the vast majority of these first couple of rounds. This has been a harsh start for one of those essential players that have made waves for Big. So let's see if he can recover here. Going to get the Blade Storm out now. We have to look at what Big have done during this timeout. What have they identified? What can they address going forward? And Poor already exploring. Yes, there's utility deeper set towards that B site, but again, this is early work, and I like this investigation coming out from BBL.
So if Twisting can find anything, it's a looser hold towards A for BBL. Twisting actually going to catch that flash. Lockdown will be invested here from Musashi. Going to draw out the rotation nice and early. You can already see Kushner posted up in heaven, though. He's got a little pocket to play on, even though he's going to be removed from that angle. No, actually, Twisting can't see it.
In it. Yeah, Kushner was going to try and linger around as for a couple more seconds, but didn't quite get the spot he wanted. So Twister needs to control up towards heaven. There are a lot of players here, though, and I think he's feeling that his welcome is no longer. Turco's going to take down Twiston, but the trades are good this time for Big. Finally, a 2-for-1 trade out, and look at Musashi pushing up towards heaven. But Pora, the positioning's good, and the damage coming through. Another 1v1. Aslan against AIM DLL. 24 seconds. Spike's still not down. Big struggling here.
Well, it feels like a fumble there. Have to see if Aslan can close this out. Fatfinger? Did he just miss that, or is he trying to bait?
Spike planted.
He's been noted now, and AMDLL's going to punish it. That's... I don't know if that was an attempt at a last-second bait, or he heard a footstep or something, but Aslan absolutely fumbling as well. Wow, I that initially looked like you look at the setup there, you see everybody actually held into heaven. That smoke getting spammed away, so much damage done. Pora still finds the kill from back. I mean, that's just ridiculous as well, that headshot, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened with Aslan there. I gotta think the fat fingers the diffuser gets off the plant, sorry, and gets off it.
Does feel as though that could be a potential. I don't see any other reason as to why. So 6-1 now, and the money's gonna be put back right to the starting blocks. Basically,
I mean, this looks like Big's round 4 purchase. This is literally carbon copy.
and again, remember, this is Big's choice. This is Big's map. So a rough start's fine, but I gotta see signs of life. I want to see something come through here, because right now, that's not pretty. Oh, it's not. That's a bad miss.
He's gonna get punished here with the smoke as well. Kusha actually digs back in.
The flash! Aslan tries wildly spraying for it, but Locker's got the punish, and now the 3v4. Now they've taken damage, but they'll take that every day of the week. Maybe a man up could do some good for them here.
Does Turco re-clear this? Surely.
Surely. Yes, he does. Clean enough. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Spoke too soon, Mike. Spoke too soon.
Musashi's landing! He had another headshot on aim DLL there. That's just Pora left.
It's been messy. Real messy work. But Big, if this is the gateway, if this is the chance,
30 seconds left.
you get it with both hands. You do not let this slip. You're going to put that spike down. You're going to sit there and you're going to watch that round finally come through to you. And BBL, again, one of those things. It's one of those. I would say that as of late, I haven't seen as much, or within certain teams. But you know, there's always dangerous in these sort of rounds, right? Like sometimes I really do hope that they just kind of lock it down. You see teams getting better and better at dealing with their anti-ecos, but some of those peaks were
Sloppy.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll make the comparison to where I was saying Kusha had to be careful in that earlier round where he burns up his dash so early, doesn't really get any sort of value in terms of the peak or the information or any pressure towards Big. And then noting that actually the spacing between him and Aslan back in market was questionable if he lost that Phantom, right? It's a similar situation here where there's just nobody to offset. It's Kusha basically pressuring 3 separate parts of mid solo. No flash, no smokes or anything invested from aim DLO either. So, I mean, this is a round that Big maybe can learn a little from. They've already found a little bit of value in terms of splitting through B and pressuring towards market previously, but this is another big tick in the box for me.
Oh, it's okay. It's lock it down.
Worth?
I don't know. The inflection on the end. Aslan overextends and almost got 2, almost double down on that, and they're willing to fight. It's getting a little scrappy.
Yeah.
And aim DLL going to try and pick up where he left off, and that's when you start feeling a little less hopeful about it. And actually, the timing's good. Not going to get the information on aim DLL, so he's going to get himself tucked in there and actually hold that space.
Turco actually just bailed out aim DLL with that Hunter's Fury. Gets Obnox out of the drone. No confirmed information, at least. They can still suspect it. There's 3 now creeping towards A main. I'm curious as to why we haven't seen a rotation come through on the back of the Hunter's Fury tag. I mean, aim DLL probably heard enough in terms of audio cues there with them scrambling to escape the Hunter's Fury, but now it's just about coming through. Turco considering it should be now confirmed with the smokes dropping.
Yeah, aim DLL needs to somewhat play his life. Not sure if he caught any more damage on the cross there towards Obnox. I think he was already tagged up regardless, but Spike going to go down.
I think he did,
post plant. Potentially got a little bit more done. But MDLL shut out somewhat from this round so far. Has to leave it towards more the likes of Turco and Pora to try and create a chance here to open up this post plant. Pora going to start the work, but Tommy's doing the damage. And time's starting to dwindle. You can see the setup. Aslan might have noted one. Yeah, he's definitely spotted one, but the second can't make it count. And now AimDLL finally gets his chance at it working back in, and the barrel gives away the game. Musashi waiting in a nice ratty spot. So back on track. to an extent for Big, I guess? Question mark.
I mean, I'll just come back to the worth question mark comment, because in this scenario, with how the last few rounds have gone, BBL don't necessarily just want to go 1-for-1. Like, if Big can stack up and play trades in mid, it favors them better. So, I mean, it's the age old, right? That 1-for-1 will suit the attackers better. You'll still get a numbers advantage whichever site you lean towards. And we already talked about at the start of this, right? Big have looked great in terms of mid-rounding. And reacting upon some of the information, some of the openers that they have been able to find. So I want to see BBL lean away from that a little bit, honestly.
Yeah. And Twiston looking to best his seemingly opposing number right now. That's going to feel nice. Catches Bora. Couldn't quite get Kushner, but I mean, the damage, look at the state of it. Literally 1 HP, Turco. Only going to get one, and there it is in the kill feed. Synonymous with his name now. Kushner. I mean, he's already been noted.
Yeah.
Strong breeze might be the death of him at this point.
MDLL still actually committed to the shorty holding A main as well. Big a pause for thought. Smoke's coming through though, we'll confirm it now. And that will actually still ping out Kushner, so you got an idea of his whereabouts. Not long for this world either.
Dropped on. Should be fine now. And I mean, for Big, this is critical to this map's success. Because bear in mind, we have, what is it, Haven and Icebox after. And you want to see them put up a performance on their own choice here, because we all know the dangers of BBL. Seen it quite clearly. This is one of those games you don't want to let spiral if you're Big, because again, chance at the playoffs. So we've got to see if that's the case. If they've got what it takes in this one.
And just coming back as well, you ultimately want to win your map pick against a team that the desk even noted it, right? A team that actually causes more problems when there's more pressure on, right? We talked about BBL's spike in performance towards the final weeks previously. Definitely not to be, and considering their performance last week as well. I said I was actually very impressed with BBL.
You're getting glimpses of it. Yeah, they're a dangerous little side, and it's why all of us kind of look at them like that.
Yeah, sorry, Lord. Actually on Ascent as well versus Guild. BBL looked fantastic.
Yeah. I think they're one of the teams that does have that. I don't want to say always a potential upset, because I don't know if it goes to across the maps, but it's like I feel like they're always good for an upset on one map, right? Or they can push on one map.
That's the weird thing. You look at this BBL roster, and we shouldn't be talking about the potential to upset. We should be talking about BBL as a mainline contender, and that's where I feel they've fallen short.
Yes, and maybe that's our own fault for holding them in such high expectation to a degree, but we also know the results that they can post, right? I think everyone's seen all the talent that they have, so it's hard to not see that and think, oh, why is it not coming through in results? And maybe it's taken longer than expected, but you kind of wait to see where those glimmers are, and we do tend to see it at crunch time, which is the scariest part for any other team playing them. It's like, oh, cool, we've got a chance of playoffs. Who do we have? Oh, good, BBL.
Especially if you're Big as well, if you look at what's on the line for them. Trade-off of knives towards A main and exchange of information.
Ooh.
On the back of that, actually, the no command popped immediately. Aslan, good for 2 though. And actually, Musashi delivers on the 3rd. Big already find themselves on A site. Plant will come through nice and early. Obnox here, ready to greet the flank as well.
And well, it looked like he was ready for it. He had all the right indications that he was ready to address what was probably seen on that swing through middle, but gets bested, and now these 2.
No way they go for the lockdown retake.
I'm waiting to see Pora. I'm looking for it. Does he dare?
He's got a lineup for wine there.
That's going to clear it quickly. But now you can see the counter utility. Is this going to put them off?
Yeah.
I feel as though it has, yeah. There's enough to buy time, and it wouldn't be quite enough, maybe, leverage they'd want into this round with too many uncertainties. So they do decide to go for the safer route. It looks like Mike can hit that save for now.
I think with the finances being so fragile here, they want to hold on to the weapons. Again, maybe 10, 15 seconds earlier, the lockdown's viable if potentially Obnox isn't there. I mean, winning out that duel, it almost confirms the possibility that could happen. Maybe that's why we see Big adjust towards short. They put 1 towards backside and then 2 towards tree. So maybe great awareness on the side of Big. Was that Musashi hits that headshot mid-jump? What?
Unreasonable.
Is that like a panic jump and still hits the headshot?
Nothing like being rewarded for those things.
Yeah.
You know? Feels fair. Feels fair.
Big have 4 Odins.
Mike? Mike?
Don't stand. Look at the pings on the minimap.
What? What?
Well, it's lucky nobody's playing lane, I guess.
Now they can obviously switch out to the actual rifles now. But, yes.
You don't see
It
that
is
very often.
fortunate. Yeah, poor old Turco's probably sat there like, I'm really glad I opted to not go there this round. That would have been horrific.
BBL's position here for the final round, though. Lockdown, no command, and the Cosmic Divide available. On the flip side, we do have a lockdown in play as well.
Deploying.
Hunter's Fury. Hassan does have his TP. So opportunity here for Big to actually tie things up and even out the half at a 6-6. Looks like they're going to invest the lockdown towards mid, so forcing out all this space towards an... Actually, the counter lockdown's only really going to protect B.
Yeah,
So,
it doesn't.
yeah, immediately Big are going to hit this.
And it's cleared out enough of tree for them, right? So they've got a really nice passage towards the side. The divide going to go up, though. So MDLL going to sit himself and watch this patrol it. Musashi already going to punish Kushner as well. Catching that just on the kind of heels of that middle rotation coming
Do
through.
they pop flash this?
I'm waiting to see it. Twiston.
Tristan will
Well, I
push
mean,
you with a
Luck is-
shorty, right?
Yeah, Luck is still suppressed. And now finally there you can see a little bit of the utility invested. 13 seconds, so they're being halted here. Finally they make their breakthrough. Did Twiston
Oh, he
load
spotted the barrel.
I thought he did, now he does. Assumes it was there in the end, but it's Aslan with the Guardian. What's going on? Luck with the underhand, and it's great. Now it is on Pora in the 1v2. It was a 1v3, but he got the first. The time's against him. He wants that door open. He wants to open now. Gives himself some, maybe a little bit of wiggle room. Trying to cause a little bit of doubt, but look at the crossfire set towards this. Both players in the right place. The fight from Luck is good enough to get it done. But that felt risky towards the end there, Mike. These rounds are as close as they could be.
Switching
6-6 on the board on the switch.
I mean, what a play back in from Big, though. To consider how the first 5 rounds of this half went, it was... Felt as if
worried.
things were about to snowball. I feel like, I mean, I might be misspeaking here, but that might be one of the better attacking halves we've actually seen from Big on Ascent. I mean, at least through the last few results we've seen. So to come out here 6-6, it's actually a miracle for. I mean, I know for a fact, but versus Mech, they actually pulled through on the defense. So Big now may be coming into the comfort zone here. An even half here suits them massively.
And Obnox and Musashi putting in work for the side. Obviously, we noted Pora on the first half, really having some impact, but they've stepped up where Twiston's been having a quiet one. So, critical for them. And it's 6-6. This is where we see the switcheroo, right? This is where we've got to see BBL show what they can bring for starters, and Big get to sit on probably their more diligent side. So for now, we wait. Patience being shown so far from the newly appointed attacking side.
BBL very cautious in approaching. You can see Musashi's actually got a setup here to deny Kushner's dash on. Torres should take contact and now swarm on steps. Should catch him.
There it is.
Perfectly done. Forces him out the smoke, but still wins it. Musashi will fall.
Yeah, you can see that was almost, you know,
Tailor-made.
Tailor-made, right? And just still gets bested. All that utility and no follow-through. Almost upsetting. But for now, we see the spike planted. We go into the post-plant, but they've got bodies on site, right? They've got 4 players here, 2 sitting deep towards kind of the utility hold. High flash from Lucker to allow the swing. Twiston's going to take that with as much as he can. Spots the first player and loses Aslan. He's sharp today, and he wants to prove he's the best line in the server, and he's done well so far. DLL confirms the round. BBL start off with a bang.
Great pistol round. It's a great setup from Musashi. Unfortunately, it's just punished by Kushner being extremely sharp with the ghost there. BBL will put themselves in the lead the second half here. Phantom in the hands of Kushner once again.
Okay.
See what he can get
made me
done
nervous
here.
last time, but...
No, it really did. It's like I said, when you almost got to assume that there's going to be a little bit of investment into that next round, sheriffs and the whatnot. To see him solo challenge in mid, like I said, he's got 3 or 4 different areas to worry about. lots of utility going to get dumped in. He's got to deal with the darts, the knives, the drone, everything. So this time around, they can stack up a little bit, being on the attacking side. Currently over towards A. Nobody on the other side of A main greeting them. No, it's a double stack towards short. Musashi and Aslan going to try and bait each other in. MDLL remembering the spike is necessary on the attacking side. He's like wide open for the taking. I mean, it's only the turret to take contact here just to confirm presence. The smoke comes through. We'll pull Musashi a little closer, but no damage exchange just yet. I mean, it's all in. It's invested from BBL. They want to make sure there's no possibility of being caught in a lurk or anything like that. So a full 5v5, but a Bucky and a Shorty to work with, Lauren.
I mean, they're strong, Mike, but I just... You know? Oh, watching that from someone else's POV was actually upsetting. That was actually quite upsetting. As now we are down to Obnox and Lucka. And, well, doesn't seem as though it's going to go well for the Mike. No.
Yeah, that Astra setup towards heaven is just so dirty. They can't play inside the smoke. There's a gravity well comes through, the shock dart, the nano swarm as well. Twisting just dead before he even finds anything. Lucka will find one. It's empty. The Phantom removed.
Ooh.
I mean, even though he
being
falls,
removed's great. Yeah.
It's fine because Big come back into this with their purchase and.
Was anyone else exiting main?
Nope.
Okay, maybe something to note. We haven't loved the Phantom. is the takeaway.
No.
I think the high risk, high reward sort of discussion. I think I've seen more of the risk being shown than the reward so far.
Yeah, there's justifications to be made, right? Kyushin has got decent early ultimate progress if he can retrieve an AWP here and a kill and then die. He's got his Blade Storm, but it's the same as the first half for me. I've got to be honest. It's not protected enough.
No, it is. It's not doing the job for us. And actually, the flash, they've just eaten it up. Oh, well, it was on a platter, and they've gone two for it. Well, there they are. And now the rifle sitting on the back of the starter starting to sweat. Lucka not feeling so lucky as Aslan bests him. Finds his opposing number, and there's a nice little upgrade for him. Gets his hands on it before the others. And now the last two. Well, you're just saving, aren't you, really? What a flash.
BBL looking like a big mid-split right there, to be honest.
A big mid-split.
They tasted their own medicine from the previous round. From the first half, sorry. Well, no, BBL, it doesn't really suit them too much to go through. It's Turco and Poor are still holding on to the Spectres, whether or not they want to try and throw them in to hunt down these rifles.
I don't mind the idea of it. You got the round, right? You got a couple more to play with. Why not? You got 3 rifles to walk away with. Oof. There's a swing. Musashi needs to, he needs to get a run on.
Most don't want him to challenge there in that scenario, but looks like he's going to be able to escape to hell. 71 HP will force out the armor repurchase, which makes it awkward in a round like this when you bring 150 credits in. Yeah, look, he's 1100 now. It's almost. I mean, I know it's very, very minute, but little things like that.
And probably the right call for Big here, pumping the brakes a little bit, because a couple of these rounds have gone sideways, I feel. That's probably not the ideal outcome for them by any means, left with 2 rifles. And even what you were saying just then, Mike, the discussion of money is going to be a factor now going forward, because they could be a little out of sync to this.
But yeah, they have 2 players. Ultimately, BBL should reach double digits here, right? So they lose the next buy round. It's looking pretty dire for them, honestly.
Worrying scenes, and I do wonder what they, come up with here, because we have been praising them for a couple of these mid-round calls, things we liked, and kind of addressing some of the issues during moments like these, right? It's something that's kind of become a big accreditation to the adjustment and resurgence of Big, I'd say, if that's a fair way to put it, almost. Maybe overselling it a little, but I'll stick to it.
How much time have you been spending with Zest?
All right. I'm all aboard the Hopian. I live in Germany, man. Like, come on. There's the secret bias coming out. No, I have enjoyed watching them kind of make progress, right? I enjoyed it with, you know, a couple of the other teams, just getting to see them adjust things throughout the season, right? Seeing growth with some of these teams.
I think Big and Focus have been on two very similar trajectories, right? And in terms of expectations, they've been very low, and I feel they've both over-delivered. Yep. They've exceeded my expectations for sure. So it's been so exciting to watch. It's
cover going out.
Good to see a couple of Kushner a little ahead of the curve now. No, I was still talking. I was like, surely they're not just gonna swing this,
right? Well, Kushner is. And an early advantage in a round that really Big should have no right to, right? They have two of the rifles. Musashi and Aslan are your two main hitters. Now, it looked like the pings were already addressing the fact that middle could be next on the chopping block. Really something to note.
I was going to say, Poor's got Spike as well. I want to see him overextend on this lurk because he's twisting on the other side of it. We know what he's got, but Bigger got the time in here on this. Look at the rotation coming through already.
He's still a nuisance. He's still a nuisance. He's still going to take one and do a good... Well, I was going to say a good amount of damage, enough damage on the way in. It's going to buy a little bit more time, but Lucca is now in danger. Support's not going to be here for a moment, and Musashi's the only one that can really bail him out over by that mid door. And, well, Obnox going to catch 1, 2, hold on, that's not bad. And this is all but possible now in a 1v2. Aslan's damage, he's down to 28 HP, Turco's half. And the spike ain't down yet, and Musashi gives away his position. Pops down Tommy, swings in White, spots nothing, close, the flash is so good. Aslan with the punish and saves BBL here because that got so dangerous.
I mean, you look at the HP bars there, you see the Sheriff's in hand, like 3 of them are one shot. It was almost doable for Obnox to find another 2 on the back of that.
For sure. As soon as that first shot came in, man,
look at the HP bars. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, oh no. Thank God they stack up for that swing there, Turco and Aslan, because I mean, another half second to adjust there. He finds both with one shot, to be honest.
The scary thing is now, that's 4 on the trot, right? Now, this is the almost delayed buy round coming out.
I said it. They lose their buy round now. BBR on 11, right? It gets really awkward.
And this is all in. They've not left much up to the imagination here. Now, what does Twiston... If they don't put pressure on Twiston, he's going to have a lovely day. Tommy's going to reveal the position. Now, I wonder if they adjust or maybe look for another option, because I'm already seeing that spike drift.
Lucker on the other side of this, though. He's just shouldering through B main. Actually going to catch the perfect timing on that knife.
That's huge, because Turco, in the meantime, have been trying to sell presents.
Well, it might not draw too much of a rotation because it's AIM, DLL, or Poor, right? 2 agents that can actually play very disconnected. So you see the stack up towards lane, and actually now the
there we go. That's a little bit more.
It's a perfect fake, though. They've shown presence with a 3rd agent now, and immediately going to hit this rotation.
That's lovely. They've taken Twiston away, right? Now, Aslan needs to play his life as best he can. Smoked out, but he's playing real risky going in towards that, and you can see the HP looking rough around the edges for old Musashi. Comfortable. But Twiston's among them.
Kushner,
you've just saved them.
MVP.
You have just saved them. Like, just preempting the chance of it. Spanning into that smoke has saved the plant and potentially the round. That could have spiraled, and it doesn't. 5 still stand, and Aslan is just gonna seal it. It's BBL. Large and in charge, pulling off the round in the end, because I thought Big may have had them back in the right position. Twiston got there so quick, but...
I gotta say, a comment I made in the first half, right? With certain teams, certain plays, you have to expect some of these sorts of plays, right? Sitting deep in smokes, you know, you see that cloud burst come through. The expectations is that Twiston's gonna push you with a shorty.
Sure.
It's gotta be assumed.
But I think this is a lot of credit as well to the likes of Twiston, that is now something you have to keep in mind, right?
It's a factor in every round.
It genuinely is. And you see with some other players, right? You see certain players in certain positions like, oh, they're going to do this. And probably at the start of the season, if you were playing against someone like Big or whomever else, or Focus to a degree, you wouldn't have had that mentality of, right, we've got to note these sort of things, right? These sort of elements. And already that's becoming a factor. I think that's such good progress. But again, we look at what scenario we're in. It's MR12. We're on 11 already for BBL, and Big has very little to write home about in this round.
Very little to write home about in this half. if I'm honest. Never really got going. We cleared out through lane here. Twisted forced so deep now with the Bucky. We've seen him do damage from backside with these sorts of weapons before. Look at the lineup there for Lucka finding 2.
Yeah, nice flash, nicer shot. Yushina hop, skip, and a jump over the site, looking to close that gap. Twiston is waiting patiently for anyone to give him a chance. And well, there's the first. He's going to find it, but the timing is good for Aslan. They're shutting him down. They're making sure Twiston gets no room to play. And it's 12 for BBL. And I thought there'd be that resurgence from Big. I thought they would stop the rot. They'd get back in on the buy. And I've got to say, BBL have let none of that happen. They have been on this one. They don't care for Big's chances to make the playoffs. They could not give a damn about it. And they're playing a great game here. This is 12-6 now, Mike. This could be it.
Operator going to be back in the hands of Twiston. No command, TP, Hunter's Fury, Bladestorm, all available. If they want to mount a comeback, it's got to be clean.
Yeah. And it's all in. BBL not pulling any punches here. Yushina straight on through. Musashi.
It was vulnerable as well.
Hero level work right there. And he's still delivering. Gonna get a second for himself, but the trades. The tide just crashing on the shore and Big are washed away. Twiston and Lucka locked out for now. Aslan willing to fight this, willing to challenge, and Twiston didn't expect it. And Aslan has dominated today. In map 1, it has been his 13-6. BBL look hot to trot, Mike. This is a real performance.
I mean, Big just got absolutely rolled in that second. I mean, in the start of the first half, but the second half even more so. Barely even broke a sweat, it felt like. BBL just found their groove very early on and stuck to it. Big, not showing an awful lot of resistance. It's probably the, dare I say it, the worst performances we've seen from them in recent times. Twiston, I mean, having an absolute stinker at 6 and 15, unable to find the value he has done in other series. So credit to BBL in that regard, in, like you said, just completely removing him from some of those rounds, mitigating the risk that he's able to bring to the table.
Well, it's time for Big to pretty much do or die now. There's one map basically pinning their chances to, which is the one on the horizon, which will be Haven, which is BBL's choice. And for BBL, what a time to find form, breaking hearts out here, Mike.
The last week BBL strikes again, it looks like.
It certainly could be the case, but we're not the ones to really discuss that much further. We'll leave that to the desk after this break.
VCT EMEA Challengers, Big's big chance to make the playoffs takes a hit. They lose map 1 13-6. BBL putting up big numbers, living up to their name potentially here as the Dream Killers. My name's Ian Chambers here on the desk alongside Lothar and Kakuka. BBL coming out strong.
Yeah, exactly. They also have the dream of making it to last chance qualifier and maybe get into an international event this year. But the performance that we saw here on Ascent, we knew that they were starting on the defense. And of course, that's a nice card to play for themselves. But to me, the most impressive thing was the attack, how they won every single round, 7 in a row. And the fashion in which they did it. Because at the beginning of the map, we saw so many times when Power just faced the 1v3 situation and he was forced to make a decision of, am I just saving a gun and thinking of the next round? I love what they did on the bonus, just putting everything on to secure that they're going to build up on that economy. But towards the end of that first half, it just so many stupid mistakes, so much overcommitment on their side.
I mean, in general, I would say that those mistakes were then rectified on the attack side, because it seems like on attack, they actually knew exactly how to approach and punish mistakes. So even when they lost the first blood, there was always a trade, and they were almost instant. Like, even if someone gets a double kill, there's the guy that gets the trade in, and it's still 3v3, it's still 2v2, it's still like all of those rounds were doable. And it seems like always Big was just one step behind, even though they made the first step, but always were getting punished. And this guy that you can see here on this screen in the last highlight, I feel like that was the one guy that was actually just single-handedly favoring BBL here.
Yeah, especially we know how they work around the duels, how good they are with the trades, and that is exactly what we saw on the attack. They didn't care if they started with the first blood or not. The follow-up is always going to come in, and they just destroyed Big.
BBL, Aslan, like, you can't say enough about this man on that map.
To me, the first half was all about Para, and the second one was all about Aslan. It's not only the fact that his 0 points were the goal for the rest of the team to going forward, also the fact that he can play for himself. I think also some of the combos that we saw on the post plants, he knew exactly how to use the flashes and to win the duels.
So from what I remember, I think he had 3 0 points that cancelled a drone. Like, that's already enough value for like an entire half when you think about it, because you deny one of the most crucial pieces of utility for the initiator from the other team. And that was pretty impressive to have those always in a good spot. And there were always the 0 points, even when they're not canceling utility that was being used, we had good usage of just for information, like who is currently going in as, you know, as a rotational player.
Big's coach, Kundi going into this series, said they weren't really necessarily feeling a tremendous amount of pressure. Tell you what, they are now, right? They are right now.
Yeah, he lied. I don't know how the things are going to be, especially going on to map number 2. But after this one, I mean, the fact, to me, I was coming in today saying if BBL doesn't have a good first half, it's very complicated for them to go back into the game. But after what we saw here right now, on Haven, it should be easy for them. I expect some changes as well.
Well, you know what? I feel like I had been right when it comes to this map, because it just felt like they picking into BBL. Like BBL's Ascent was always a map, in general, Turkish map. It was favored by all of the teams coming from the region, and it seems like Big just went into a trap.
Well, let's just pick that map apart a little bit more, Bay. Heading over to Lothar's lab, please, sir.
There was one interesting round that I wanted to break down, and that was a double lockdown on mid. One from the attackers, of course, one from the defenders, obviously. And now we're going to zoom in on the minimap. You're going to see those 2 lockdowns being used, one in the area in mid. Oh, Jesus, that's not what I wanted to do. One here in this spot, second one behind logs. And the thing is, this attacker's lockdown essentially allows you to fake a little bit of mid control, that maybe you're doing a B split, and that's probably what's going to happen, right? This is why you see also the Sova using the arrow to check for B main, and that gives them a little bit certainty that this is not a push through mid towards B split. And that's the second purpose of this lockdown, because as you can see here, I'm going to mark it here, this is the range that's now most important for us. This is the area that is being cleared by this lockdown, which allows the team to go through short without being exposed to anything, without even using any kind of utility, just in case you want to save it for the post plan, because you're pushing through a site. But now BBL actually reacts accordingly to what is happening on the map, because the moment those lockdowns are and recon arrow are giving info, this is the moment when you can see on the minimap that in the middle, Jet pushes in through Pizza towards that lockdown and destroys it, which is for confirmation of where the opponents are going. And now the defenders are going to use the Cosmic Divide to make sure that no one is pushing through the A main towards A side, and I thought this is going to be perfect moment for Big to actually use a pop flash through the Cosmic Divide, but that never happened. And it was time is running out here. In an almost perfect manner, we have seen also a defragment stop the players from pushing into site and stopping the plant, but fortunately for Big, they just won the gunfights while this Cosmic Divide was being used, just dissipating, and that's basically it. But this was a very chaotic round that was very creative for both teams when it comes to like this push and pull.
You talk about the gunfights. We were talking also about Twiston before this match started. We were talking about the shotguns as well. But I think that he maybe tried to overdid it. He was maybe not focused on exactly what we wanted to see him. He was not getting the entry duels, not on attack, not on defense, and probably is one of the other things that didn't help Big in this case.
So one of Big's most crucial maps in recent memory is coming up now, and it is, of course, Haven Lothar. Where do you see this playing out?
Well, the record of Big on this map is so far 0 wins on Haven this season. And for BBL this year, they played it 6 times and they won 4 out of those 6. And this is very similar situation to Ascent. Big won only 1 time on Ascent, lost twice on Ascent, while BBL had 7 wins and 3 losses. Like, it seems like BBL is having just good maps being picked for them because they have a lot of experience and also decent results on them.
Yeah, exactly. This was one of the maps we were talking about the past stage. This was one of the maps that they took against Ascent. For the side of Big, it's complicated not only because they haven't won it, it's also because they've been swapping the comp. They don't know if they want the Chamber, if they value more the Killjoy, if they want a Jet or a Race. So
or the Fade.
Yeah, exactly. No, the Fade, they still haven't. Oh, yes, they are going to use it. They keep the Fade.
I hope
the Fade
so.
is coming in. I would be surprised, and maybe one of the reasons that BBL has decided to use it, maybe we're going to see some Fade on their side. I would love to see it, but actually the composition that they were running on the last season, maybe changing AIM DLL to the Smoker would be enough.
Well, we'll be getting to compositions and agent select in just a matter of moments' time. But Lothar, how do you think the energy and the atmosphere is right now inside the big camp? You've got to imagine there's some difficult conversations being had right now.
Well, I really would actually love to hear what they're saying, because for me, still the question mark, why those maps, right? And maybe I'm assuming there's a specific plan in mind for Big, but I would just love if they win to have, if you're gonna interview one of the players from Big, ask them about those map picks, because there has to be something prepared that we didn't see or didn't have the chance to see. But when it comes to Haven, I feel like they need to have something up their sleeve, because last time we have seen them play here, it was the Omen, Breach, Killjoy, Jet, Fade composition. And when I was talking about Fade, you typically want to combo that, but typically not with a Jet. You don't have enough then utility that deals damage. The only one is just the Aftershock. Here, there's the Killjoy, there's the Omen, there's the Jet.
QT has gone on the Chamber, and Aslan is going to go on the Jet. I thought that maybe the other way around was going to be the change, and actually Lacker is going to be playing on the Breach, and Musashi in this instance on the Fade. So they're swapping up the roles per se, but not the composition. On the side of BBL, we do have that surprise of seeing the Chamber coming in instead of the Killjoy.
That's really interesting, because it feels like on such a complicated 3-side map like Haven, Killjoy actually has a little bit more value, but at the same time, Chamber, even though with a 1 trap, has more value as an AWPer, because now you have the ability to hold the C long, hold A long, and have a little bit more confidence when it comes to the map control, just because Chamber is the literal turret with a gun.
After seeing SSK playing with Chamber on this map and how valuable he was, also knowing that BBL is not scared to take the extra duels, I think that we'll be fine with this composition.
Well, it feels tense, doesn't it? That's for sure. Are BBL going to crush dreams again, or can Big keep their playoff hopes alive? It's time to head over to Heaven with Pansy and Hypok.
I heck love tense.
You stopped doing the little name combos. I thought we were going to get more, or is it just by game alone? All right, Ian, we'll put a pause in that, because you're right. You actually summed it up better than probably I could say, that there is a lot now resting on Big shoulders, their own destiny at this point, and BBL potentially crushing some dreams here. Mike, let's start with the compositions that we're about to see coming in that have been locked in. Where does this now sit with you? Because I'm worried on this map alone.
I am. I feel like there might be an element of just comp diff right here.
Okay.
This from BBL, it's a refreshing change. It brings Chamber into this, but on the flip side of that, Obnox is gonna feel a little embarrassed in some of these. BBL have 2 separate counters here to the lockdown.
Okay.
That's always the concern, right? With running the Killjoy, which on Haven, there's real arguments to be made. Ascent as well. But here with the application of Breach, and we know that Sova is more often than not kind of a mainstay. Big aren't playing one here. It's going to be difficult to find value off that lockdown. Honestly, it's going to be very situational.
Well, this could be the last chance to dance for Big in this regard. Their chances for playoffs starting to dwindle, starting to look a little less likely than the start of the day, because I've got to say, BBL have turned the hell up, and Aslan ain't stopping. What a scalp to claim in the first couple of seconds of this round as well. Going to take down the man who's meant to be the punch, the knockout puncher. That and Kushner's timing could be quite tasty on the other side. And Aslan's just playing aim training. Already punished Lucker as well. And it's a brawl, and it's not looking like a good one either. It's already down to just 1 man standing.
And seeing Kushner pick this up, he's been sharp, so see him now with a headhunter at his disposal, already a tag onto Obnox here. Going to be difficult with the frenzy at range. Aslan will find his third, and Big looking to reinvest behind conceding that first blood on Long, and it ultimately is their demise. Clean pistol round win here for BBL, and 2 rifles this time around. Kushner and Aslan going to don a Vandal and a Phantom. We questioned the value, or at least the application, in the previous round.
Yeah.
See if they can improve on that somewhat.
I think, I don't know, I was going to say this map I feel is a little bit harder to snowball trying to get those weapons away, but again, then you could always argue that the rotations are brutal, but you can see what's coming back in for Big. They got now. You got Twiston with a bit of an investment, but I like the the quickening of the pace from Big trying something, right? Now, do they get any value for this? That's, I guess, the next big thing. And you can already see the utility just littered in the way if they do
Backing
try
away
to
from the trap.
overextend. Yeah.
They've heard it here. They're just going to try and post up. No, actually, you can see two members of Big actually put a bit deeper in spawn. And with no pressure coming through from A, I think BBL knows something is up.
Yeah, they're like, this doesn't seem right. Normally someone would be shoulder peeking,
why aren't they fighting for long? Like, what's going on?
And this will force the utility out early, right? This is the perfect investment on the Owl drone. There's at least a note of 1, potentially 2. The timing on the swing is good, but Cushion is so controlled. Now, the timing on the crunch was also quite nice for Big. They're going to try and make the most of it. That's excellent. Twiston finds the punish. Now you can see MDLL put to task. He has to keep this safe, and he does. Once again, the rifles could have been an issue. Do they get to recover the second? Wait and see if that comes in.
I think Asan swapped last second, maybe back to a Spectre. Didn't see that second rifle in play yet. So I missed it there with the UI over the replay, but it's Kushner again, the one to invest in the Phantom, this time making it work a little better. Great cleanup from AIM-DLL as well.
Lovely work.
Well handled. They say perfect read there. They feel no pressure coming back from A long. They know that there's probably going to be some progress obtained elsewhere in the map. The BBL just want to keep fighting for this, or at least condition Big away from it, but Big is saying no. They're still happy to challenge and conceding 2 kills once again. Musashi and Twiston fall.
This could be tragic if Big overcook this. I mean, luckily for them, they've taken down Kushner, right? That's a small bit of silver lining, but a 2-for-1 trade out at the start is rough, to say the very least. Our drones try and re-clear. But again, this is going to take a lot of work for them to try and get back on track here.
Pause for thought now, and similar to the previous round, internal clock for BBL. Considering the possibility there's been a push elsewhere. Now, not sure of exactly what utility was noted, other than maybe Lucker's fault line that started around. Aslan invested his paranoia as well. I assume he purchased that in this round. The drift back towards a smoke timing perfect here, but already Obnox going to have to concede here.
Yeah, you can't risk a challenge now, not on your own. You're already down a man.
Well, you look at it though, it's what have they got? The paranoia is invested. They have a fault line now back off cooldown and 1 flash for this retake.
This could at least get them in the door, right? This could be the start of something, but they're playing a little bunched up, and Turco's going to make it pretty comfy. And Luck is left with all the mess, and there was a chance at a double, but he's not going to get it. Turco converts to stand, and BBL make him mincemeat out of Big. That initial trade basically was everything, Mike, and the money's not good again for Big.
No, it's not. And, this is tough because in this round, I think they do want to greet BBL, right? They want to try and force them away from this A lobby control, but
sure.
I mean, that now is the 3rd bonus round converted for BBL. So that's, in terms of the finances, it's tipping so heavily in favor of BBL very early on in the half once again.
Yeah, and my reporter on the ground, actually, in Sugi TV Twitch chat, has reported that Boaster has been saying prior to his game that's coming up next, had a dream about Hypoc. He was showing me his V Rising mansion. We'll get some thoughts on that after the game here, as we have a moment to discuss, because, of course, you know, if you're BBL in this round, you do want to kind of get the lay of the land. You don't want to be walking into stacks. You want to maybe navigate around any weird investments that Big may have done, and we know that Twiston will get ratty in these if he gets the chance to.
Very rare I'm ever caught truly off guard, but that one did it. Musashi.
There it is.
Could say the same. Aslan will find the headshot there. Lucker being spammed out of the corner, but no damage confirmed just yet. We'll find 2. That's huge from Lucker actually to slow things down.
Again, you're looking at chances and opportunities, and in these sort of rounds, you're not given many of them. So if that happens, you got to make the most of this. And BBL will get the site, though. That's one thing they will be guaranteed at this point, is the plant. No one to contest nor do much more, but we have to now look at where those potential moments come from. And it's this towards long, but AIM-DLL was good for it before. Remember that. Does he have that chance again? Twiston. You can at least get the timing on the cross, and now see if Obnox can punish. AIM-DLL sitting a little bit deep on this angle, maybe not wanting to fall foul to any sort of shorties come out to play, but we know it's a judge with Obnox. If AIM-DLL's patience pays dividends, as already you can see the close coming in. Twister's going to try and progress, but AIM-DLL's patience pays off. Obnox noted, and Twister the last one alive in a 1v3, and it's dealt with. Aslan not really stopping from where he started off in map 1.
No, picking up the chair here and making it look fantastic. 4 rounds now unanswered, and we have a similar point of this half where we've got to see something from Big. They have to get themselves on the board here. Operator going to be in the hands of Twiston. Rolling Thunder, TP available for Aslan. 3 off the lockdown. Musashi 3 off his as well. This could be pivotal. It could be pivotal once again, right? Yeah, this is a real crossroads round in terms of how the rest of this half could progress.
And even beyond that, just the mental alone. You think about the pressure that's already on Big. And if we know this is an essential round, they know it as well. And already a quick move from BBL, going to instantly apply more pressure, compound the problem. Spike going to go down. I don't feel particularly contested. Now it is going to at least deny the initial plant. But also they want to try and take a bit of a fight back in this. They're going to try and play this back in. And Big actually handling BBL. This is huge. Showing a little bit of resilience here is massive. Not
the aftershock perfect as well.
Turco going to find 2 right back in.
What? Forced out by the aftershock, and Turco finds 2 kills. Excuse me? I'm going to need to see the pop of that one. You've got to assume that Big are swinging that as 2, potentially 3 people. They know that they're going to be forced out of Cubby.
Right here.
That is outrageous for Turco to find 2.
No right to do it, but he takes it anyway. But they've got 35 seconds to navigate their way back through this, and Big re-established a hold on this side. Now Musashi going to get at least removed from the first swing. It's Aslan to take the mantle on that, and that's good work from Aslan. Big needed that after what was a tragedy at the hands of Turco, or could have been. 20 seconds now, and Turco's looking like he's out of options. 30 HP. Spike left kind of halfway up C-Long. It's not really going to be happening here, but the danger's in these rounds.
10 seconds left.
I'm nervous watching this, but the outcome will favor Big, at least in this one.
This is once again the round we asked for it. Big put themselves on the board. And this time around, I feel like it's a little bit of a better position, right? I mean, it's actually going to be forced to repurchase the shields. We'll see how the finances sit exactly. Twiston opportunity maybe to pass a weapon across with that Blade Storm in hand. He will actually do that, yeah. So actually coming into this one, it feels a little better than what we saw on Ascent, right? I just still can't believe that Turco delivering 2 in that scenario.
I don't know how he got him.
Is wild to me.
Yeah, I wish I could kind of get some more clarity on that, because that's still just...
I almost don't want to know as well at the same time.
Maybe it's best
don't
not
show
to.
this slip up.
Something went wrong for that to occur. Now, with the progression towards A-Long, and obviously this just boatload of utility invested towards C, I'm pretty sure Big are well aware of what's going on, because BBL not showing much subtlety, and it looks very similar, but of course this time Lucka can't really deny the plant, so they will be in the post-plant quicker, but it looks like Big want to start this retake quickly, going to take garage control as fast as they can, and AIM-DLL going to be put on the case.
A much tighter hold on site here. Aslan going to send the paranoia through. Kushner actually does manage to get out of dodge. Aslan finds the first and the second as well. Lots of damage done.
But the trades are still there for Big, and Twister's not stopping, swings the sight, isolates Pora, finds a pick towards Long as well, putting it all on Kushner. In a 1v2, the defuse, I don't think he can deny it at this point. It's done for. And he'll have to sit back and watch as Big he actually swings out. Again, Big starting to close back in. Some of these fights are so precarious though, Mike. They're having to just start these retakes so early on. They're scrambling on the fights, but it's given them a way back in.
It's BBL. It's, well, the duality of BBL, right? We rush A, we rush C. It's either of them.
Yeah.
It's that early conditioning already being so prominent here in some of these rounds. And I've got my eye on the minimap to see just how Big decide to adjust on that, right? I don't think Obnox's utility is enough to do chip damage, to slow things down. So whether or not Big just start, I don't want to say gamble pushing, but this time it's going to be back towards A. Look how deep they're going.
Look at the commitment off the back of Omen, sending in the utility as well. They're going to try and overcommit to this. It actually gives them the 2-for-1 trade. Turco's going to at least temper Lucka, but beyond that, finally, it works out for them. They've been trying that little bit of a dabble into the pressure towards A, right? We almost saw them feeding to an extent, but it actually works out this time. And now they have the player advantage. They can kind of reset from that stack towards that A side. They can kind of peel back through. You can already see Musashi is drifting back towards kind of hitting that C rotation if needed from B. As you can see, BBL re-exploring this idea, kind of coming back around this way. And they have been sitting for retakes. Obnox sitting super deep. He hasn't been actively challenging, which is obviously the right thing to do. For now, this should be a little indicator pretty soon.
Now
should
it's
be
one
enough.
dealt with, yeah. Well, that's it. The spam comes through. Well played from Musashi. The reveal, finding a lot of value there. Obnox
That's
actually going to close
wild.
things out. And I guess the response from Big is fight fire with fire. I'm almost blown away by how deep Lucka actually pushes through Sewer. He's got the benefit of Twistin holding very deep with the operator, but if this is something that could act as a deterrent towards BBL, that's key in terms of how some of these early rounds have played out, Lauren.
Or it changes the dynamic of, being able to get that space for free. Now is that thought of a challenge, you'd have to commit earlier utility towards it potentially. This is a really nice adjustment.
There's risk behind it now. BBL have to become a little more diligent in terms of these early round protocols if they want to obtain that space.
And I like the way there's still utility committed to the side, so they have no idea what's behind that smoke. But the response from BBL looks like, all right, just walk slice up mid, because they've had to overcommit someone somewhere. But actually, this time around, they're going to get the spike down and look and see if that can be denied. Spam comes in, nothing stops it, but it will probably cost them their life. It actually catches through. Aslan and AimDLL both go down. Pora just gets driven by Aslan, and Turco flashed up. They haven't even seen a player this round.
Literally. Just everybody.
Flashes and a lot. It's all thrown out.
Everybody picked up for free. I mean, Lucka actually finds one with the aftershock and the second with a headshot. So already taking the bite out of that execution, looking for just that drive-by hit on B site. Interesting to note, actually, the adjustment of Obnox's utility, the alarm bot and a nano swarm placed there. And note previously exactly how it was invested towards B. A great read from Big.
I get nervous when I see a timeout and Kushner has not purchased. It makes me very nervous, Mike. It brings me great discomfort.
Well, let's talk about the replay. Look how much we can see here or can't see.
There's the second flash.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe caught a glimpse. Maybe Kushner saw Aslan.
Maybe
that was
reel right there.
Yeah. just the flashed icon the whole way through.
It's literally just look at this great uses of utility.
But the one thing I still like to see that's kind of echoed over from those, quote unquote, the Gob B times is a couple of little pocket pieces like that, right? Just, okay, let's bring out that little, I don't know, the sewer play that we like to run occasionally, right? That little bit of a combo that we can set up. I like seeing that sort of stuff. That brings me a little bit of happiness. There's still echoes of that sort of look. And it's not just that, though, because I know a lot of people, even in CS to an extent, when you looked at God B as an IGL, like, yes, he's an all-rounder, but he'd always have these little, like, pocket plays, these little strats they bring out once in a while. And maybe, it didn't look not as well-rounded sometimes, right? People would say, oh, it's a bit cheesy, they play in this sort of manner. But Big, at the moment, the combination of, like, the firepower looks they've got going and everything else, I want to see more of this. I'd love to see that combination they're going to bring out if they do. And it looks like BBL are going to try and, I guess, get back up on the horse, right?
The pings, it's just, what's going to happen.
Yeah, but you can see the utility instantly slowing it down. Aslan denied that springboard effect that he'd want. Yes, he takes sewer control and will navigate past a lot of maybe the intent that Aslan and Big had to this, but for now, they should have a good amount of information off the back. They should be well aware of what's coming their way.
Big happy to concede, though, knowing that the Rolling Thunder probably going to come through. AimDLL actually and get through that with the TP as well. So Sight comfortable for the time being. We look towards Big really in the retake now. Lockdown available, Rolling Thunder available. AimDLL still gets caught with it, can't get the spike down either. But there's no pressure on the back of it.
No, there really isn't, which is quite surprising. Yes, Twiston's found Kushner, but they'd still be able to... Oh, I thought maybe, just maybe, he'd make it in time. Wasn't to be. Pora's going to find him. And now we look at what's remaining. A bit of a fumble from AimDLL. Musashi having the easiest time of his life, and they have to get out of the Cypher now. Lockdown's coming in anyway. Turco does get out, but the side's been taken back. Big can at least get the step towards it. Fight towards long spots. 2. Obnox finds 1. And now you need Aslan to do some more. The defuse is not going to stop right now, and they don't think they can get there in time. Aslan with the punish in the end.
So, the pings came through so late in that smoke because I'm not sure if that was just a UI bug for us, but he was spamming completely the wrong area.
Yeah. I don't know.
Big. I mean, it cost an awful lot to get this retake.
Yeah, the ping was, well, was the ping that far off?
Like I said, I don't know if it's just a UI bug for us. He's sticking it on the left side, the ping slightly favoring the right. I mean, potato. But the fact of the matter being, he's throwing the blade storm in there. Like there's such a low chance of him actually hitting that.
Whoa. Kushner? Okay. The amount of attention just on this A-long fight, or not even long, it's just like the start of trying to get any control towards A. I quite like seeing this, that both teams are putting such a priority towards it. Now this time around, Big won out the fight towards long, and now just to complement and supplement, Twiston's got a nice little pick over towards Garage as well. So sadly for BBL, not finding any easy entry points. But again, Musashi is on an island, but would you expect him to hang around? Let's see if they diligently clear this.
He's tucked up deep here, opposite. He does actually catch her, picks her out of place. Spike noted the information's there early enough. It's BBL can't even rush on the back of this trade. They will try and shift walk through. And Lucka going to be confirmed on the back of this jump peak, but and now AIM-DLL will be noted as well. Whether or not the paranoia is going to catch both here, no, it doesn't. Stands his ground, finds the first, and Turco now left to try and recover. Big, in the blink of an eye, it feels like, get themselves to 6 now, 2 ahead of BBL. See how the finances sit for BBL in this round. Hunter's Fury to play with, but not an awful lot else really to offset this purchase. We have to scrape together 2 rifles at least.
And again, if we roll, if you weren't listening to the desk at the start, or actually hold that thought, Twiston quick with it. Aslan now removed. And the pop of the ult as well. Twiston's going to see so much information off this, and he's overcommitting. Twiston, this is nastiness. Oh, and Kushner, the second smoke, just reaffirms the thought that Twiston was still around. Posts a shot or 2 towards it and will get it. But the double stack towards Sewer, they're so committed to this. It's such a brawl for it, such a battle for it. Even a third, maybe unnecessary at this point.
Not sure about the third swing through from Musashi there. Aslan thought he maybe saw a pixel out of place there, but nothing on the other side of it. Kushner will actually trade out to an operator here. Able to dip out, confirms both players, I think, off the gunshots alone.
And look at the wrap from Kushner. That should have been a barrel noted. Did Obnox check back? I think he did. Kushner gets bodied. But there we go. Pora lock down the round, and probably not one that Big should have dropped here. A bit of a fumble in my mind. Almost the overcommitment against what was gonna be a shaky buy at best.
Yeah, I mean, scrapping for that area is close quarters anyway. Almost just seeing Musashi to try and swing on the backside of that so late as well. I mean, yes, the Prowler confirms, but they're all 1 by 1.
Yeah, not in love with that.
And knowing full well that BBL have fought for everything basically in A lobby, knowing full well that's going to be stacked up behind. I can't understand the logic there.
Yeah, but again, we roll it back to the fact that Big are under pressure, and mistakes may happen at this point. You think map down, potential playoffs on the line. This is when it all can really start to crumble. A couple of mistakes here and there can really put you mentally feeling shaky. But BBL picking up the pace straight towards the site. That's a plant. Not going to come through. Musashi, how quick do you go on this?
How deep
For now, noting a couple of plays, but it's Twiston who's the one to capitalize on it. Aslan's going to be punished off the back, and AIM-DLL forced us it super deep now.
Rolling Thunder sent through from Pora, but not actually going to be able to find anything on the back of it. Obnox will find 2.
I can't really blame Turco and AIM-DLL to try and go for something, but it all falls to nothing. And Pora has to do heroics. It's not going to be. Nice little retake there, and, well, Lucka and Obnox get to keep their life, and for Big, they get to keep a lead.
2 rounds to separate them on map 2.
Switching sides.
See how BBL decide to with what we've seen on their attacking half, whether it's going to be as proactive here. So maybe not just the A lobby fight, but across the map, I got to say. I'm interested to see the application of the chamber as well. But big, at least give themselves a cushion. And BBL find the first and the second. I'm concerned for the bonus once again. If BBL can go 4 for 4 on bonuses, it's going to be a massive concern.
Oh yeah, to say the least. To say the absolute least. I'm a lot rides on this because we're seeing a lot of mistakes to a degree on both sides. Some overcommitment, some whiffy moments.
How heavy the emphasis is towards Garage and C here. Just a trip to support Turco. And we'll deal the reveal. Confirmation on the other side of it, at least with 2 players swinging through. Gonna completely give up A site, actually. Turco will resort back to heaven. He's got both shock darts, so might just play for a little bit of anti-plant, maybe try and pick up a freebie.
Yeah, he knows what's happening. He can call for help, but still that long time before Luck has taken the chip damage and gets to keep his life.
Why he delayed the second one? Honestly, he could have got the kill there.
That. Yeah. Now, I guess for BBL though, chip damage is good, but it's not going to be enough at this point. They need that instigating factor, and already with Aslan going down, this bodes well for Big to do some more. Now it's a 1-for-1 trade, but with already the player advantage. That's the game changer. Hold on. Yushina comes in and destroys him. Look at what a shot. Get out of here.
No way.
Taco. I thought that was going to be Lucka just hitting that second shot. That flick.
The first one was crispy. Oh, you see somebody hit a shot like that, you're like, yeah, he's got a second. Surely, right? Surely. He's entered the flow state.
You love the flow state.
I love the I'm a big fan. Big fan. Mitch Man too. Mitch Man,
Mitch loves it.
He loves a bit of the flow state. What is this from Kushner though?
Mate.
It just catches the first off guard completely.
That shot. And it's like, once you've hit one of those shots, I was like, he's got to get the second, surely. Surely Luck has got that in the bag. Not at all. Turco's there. And BBL, turn on a dime. Until that double towards Hell came through, I thought that round was kind of going away from them, right?
It just so happens that Luck is the last man standing with that shock dart damage, so it makes it a little bit easier. Recon Bowl will be dealt with, but also ping out a player. God, Twisted with the crouch peek finds Kushner.
Okay. Still a little bit of fire to this. Zoshi's holding a lot of space, yeah. Caught by Pora. And AIM-DLL's clearing a lot of space, speaking of, but again, how aware of the early work that was already being started towards that A side. You can see Turco's already, was trying to clear back towards being sure it's safety. Now he's going to hear enough that he's got a big indicator of what's going on. Obnox already down to 69, 28 gets to walk away with. It's certainly softened them up for once again another retake for BBL.
See how diligent BBL are here on the way back in. Luck are going to set up a fault line. It might get caught off guard. Not sure what he was holding out there, but yeah.
Then you hate it. And Obnox would need some more of those would have helped, but they can only get one in the time.
Whoa.
And BBL going to keep 2 standing.
Great damage though in a round that BBL come into. Odds-on favourites to win, right? We're faced now with if Big can actually win out their first buy round. It's going to force a lot of these repurchases out from BBL. You see if they can even get some rifles in play. The Guardian on the board already. Looks like it might just be offset, with a couple of sheriffs.
Yeah.
Execution here obviously makes it a little bit easier.
It's surely they don't convert this one. Surely. Right, Mike?
Right?
Right? Come on, Big. This isn't the round that you're going to drop a bonus against. A Spectre, a Guardian, a couple of Sheriffs. This is the one that you're going to be clean on. 5 standing. Gets that confidence sky high. the pacing and the indicators of, hey, it's a C hit, right? Like,
oh no,
but
they're stacking
they've hit the
four.
brakes.
They're stacking 4 to A site. Big have come through. They're going to deal with the trip. They're hoping that pulls the rotation. It's going to do nothing, Lauren.
Where are you?
I'm getting a little nervous.
All right, Paranoia and Alzone. So 2 people noted on A site now.
Okay. Aura's going to push up. Have a little crouch. Chill out. Now,
Headshot.
you keep being diligent, right? You keep checking your corners.
Yeah,
you
you do,
absolutely
you
do.
do.
Oh, God, Taco! The Guardian on long has just absolutely sent them scattering. They're now going to try and depend on Twiston.
He's caught this info.
That's audio cues given. Now, again, bear in mind, Twiston's ahead of this early. He's already going to be posted up towards your CT, so they've cleared this in their minds, and you're not going to be thinking about this, and that's just to buy time. And now this is where Kushner has to be ready for this. The spike is already on the side. He notes one, probably dipping towards long there, and there's Twiston pulling the plug.
Oh my
whiffs
God.
From Kushner, it could have been a tragedy in the making, but no, Big, by the skin of their teeth, get away with this round.
Oh. I mean, the Hunter's Fury posted from range as well.
Yeah.
And again, Kushner is just a couple of seconds away from that. I mean, we won't talk about the whiff, but if he's there in time, I think he catches one for free.
Sure.
Then Twiston's isolated. It becomes really, really complicated at that point.
Bloody
Well,
hell.
I say isolated, he's disconnected.
Yeah. Man, those are the sort of rounds you look at and think seconds difference, right? As you said,
Yeah.
Kushner 2 seconds earlier could have been a different outcome. Maybe one of those shots just hits like it should, and he's walking away with a totally different round. However, the essential thing here is that Big were able to get past what was a bit of a block for a couple of rounds. Kushner though going to pick up from where he left off with a quick pick towards Musashi.
The next hurdle is winning the buy round.
Oh, Pora. He's trying to play this out, Twiston. Yeah. I was wondering if Pora could get away with murder by sticking around there. You can see the others evacuated the site, but it is a 4v4 and probably a post-plant. Kushner does like a drop down, though. And the smoke... Okay. Just about caught in the heels as he tries to dip out of there after doing that sort of Assassin Creed nonsense. 3v3, aim DLL catching Twiston in no man's land.
Again, smoke's on cooldown here, but now one's posted up towards Arches. But Aslan and Obnox a little split here. Aslan's got so much to deal with.
He certainly does, and now has to pay a little bit more mind, but it's given a moment for the other Aslan to hit that swing. And Obnox with the commitment he wants this dealt with, and well, he gives his life up, gives the ult up, and the round's given up as well. Diffuse going to come through, and we're back all even at 8-8.
He tries to frantically secure the round there with the lockdown, but the timing just—it's not favorable at all. It's in a position where he's boxed into the wrong side of long as well. He doesn't have a get out of jail free card at all in that regard. Big will scrape together a purchase. I mean, I see gaps in the utility. Twiston does have the Blade Storm, but it's a Spectre in the hands of Luckup.
Get out of my way!
Right, what do we... What?
Well,
Okay. Well, that's a start.
Aslan's in their spawn.
Fair enough.
They got a decent pinch on A site now, and funnily enough, Bigger actually rotating off this, nearly catching Pora. They have to deal with this quickly, though.
He's such a problem. If he can just keep them present, that's all he's got to do. Just be enough of a nuisance.
Why aren't Big moving elsewhere?
I don't know. You can already see one of them. It's Kushner trying to get out of there. He's like, no one else is here. Big needs to get a wiggle on. They're still being methodical, and Aslan did everything he could.
Yeah.
Yeah, which Aslan, I guess you want to say. But again, you think by the time now, Kushner's already read this. He already rotated in time. He's got himself towards the back of the site. Yeah, he eats a couple of flashes. Aim DLL with a sharp shot towards Twiston. Takes down the instantaneous threat. And now they progress, and Big are getting destroyed. BBL. Get back to site and get back to business. That's huge.
There's like a 5-second window there where I want to see Big just knife out running towards the site.
Run it down,
Get set up. They know that Aslan has drawn so much attention. I mean, he knows Pora. He knows exactly where he is, and then Pora pushing through. They should be relaying that information. Pora's then going to know it's a fake. If there's nothing coming on the backside, nothing coming through sewers, nothing coming through long, Big have to find that space elsewhere on the map. Because it's beautifully orchestrated in the start of that.
Oh, the intention's wonderful, right? You can see the full intent of what they're trying to achieve, and it could. And that's the thing. It's a lot of it could have worked well. It could have been great. What it was certainly wasn't that. And Pora trying to make the most of it. He's already been marked. He's just going to take the fight, stand and deliver. Takes down one, unafraid. Twiston, yes, he can close the gap, but you can see the purchase behind Big here. It's far from pretty. Need Twiston to make something magic happen, but Pora sitting a little bit deeper, making sure they work for their dinner. Catches the corner on one, and he actually gets to keep his life because he gets to take down Twiston and Musashi. And yes, Luck has found a shot, but it's pretty much just Lucker as Obnox is still a little bit trailing behind over towards Long. That, well, the 1v1 wasn't ever going to be clean, was it? You can already see the support en route.
Standing ahead.
Okay, keeping it. Okay.
Lucker?
Player standing.
All right, fair enough.
Just give Lucker a pistol. Seriously.
Lucker's got very nice aim.
Yeah.
Like he's
snappy.
yeah, he's got that, like, you know, it's gonna be in the highlight package sort of aim. Very nice.
Sloppy anti-eco here though from BBL.
Yeah.
I gotta say it. Obnox in a position where it's definitely doable.
Seconds left.
Get a clean plant. Be able to get him both nano swarms set up as well. What's the timing gonna be like here on the audio? Heard one. Noted. Aim deal. Okay, yeah, well.
Yeah.
You put a wall in the way, it doesn't really matter. You'll still find the headshot.
He's good. He's got that aim DLL. Don't worry. Okay, Diffuse gonna come through. I'm getting nervous now because I'm seeing, as soon as I see double digits, anxiety. And I don't need help to be more anxious,
No.
Mike. It's a real common factor with me. So seeing 10 and then adding to that, you see that little mark below it. That means that BBL already picked up that first map. That's already sitting in their favor. I get nervous. And again, if we put this in the bigger... Oh,
sorry,
that shot, not even close.
It looked even dirtier the second time round.
Not even close. Again, though, for me, I'm just like, if this wasn't the game it was, right? If this wasn't the scenario we're left in, I'd been quite excited by the idea of seeing Big play this map. How do they look? Okay, a close scoreline against BBL, who've been playing quite nicely on this map, you know, up until this point. You know, if you're looking at silver linings, it's not the worst, but we know what the context is here. And Big are looking for playoffs, and BBL are looking for basically to continue playing relevant Valorant for the rest of the year, right? Like, again, for a lot of these teams, there's a lot on the line, and obviously Big's, I guess, reward is higher, so we look towards them in that regard. But this is not just BBL playing well, Mike. I do want to look at Big and say they look a bit nervous, if I'm honest. Twiston's having a middling game here for his own standard, right? We've seen him being such a proponent for that side. And the map 1 was a real shame to see him hit a low point in these moments.
It doesn't do Big justice to say that Twiston is the win condition, but he's certainly been a massive factor for Big in their recent success. Or even making some series, outside of success, making series close.
Oh, a couple of map wins here and there. Again, when we looked at the likes of Big and Focus, we weren't just saying, of course, they're going to win against, you know, heavily favored sides, but you look at the benefits they're pulling out, right? What's looking good for them? Are they making some competitive matches against really established teams? And they were, right? Like, that's been the big thing. Big thing. I hate it.
That's a huge point.
Yeah, it's humongous. Massive, gargantuan. And so is this round, so let's get to it. Ult goes in, so we have to see if they can maybe make the progress off the back. Twiston is halted, though, but BBL are going to give up site. They have to.
There's no progress elsewhere there. They're literally waiting for confirmation of the spike coming through. Now you'll see Kushner and AIM DLL make progress elsewhere. Pora with a quick headshot will deal with Aslan. That's going to remove the smokes here. Actually hindering this post plant just a little bit. We'll see what else is available. It's just a fault line. Pora's going to come through with the rolling thunder of his own, though. That's going to clear out sight for them.
Okay, BBL on the case. AIM DLL, the first one forward, happy to do it, but it's execution by his side. And AIM DLL is just large and in charge. And you're seeing Obnox now just cowering, sweating bullets, man. He's got to try and fight his way out. Another target spotted. Pora's there. Takes it, gets it. Diffuse now starting, though. He's doing everything he can. 3 more bullets, just 1 more to go. He's taking him off the diffuse. And Obnox has known it.
He's got a turret as well.
This could be the biggest round of this man's life right now. He's still doing it, Obnox! These moments might define him here. He's given them a lifeline.
What a clutch that was. I mean, BBL did everything right initially there in the retake, played it fantastically. The nano swarms buy enough time. BBL still desperately looking, but just a couple of 1v1 challenges here. Pora for the second.
Control on Pora.
I mean, there's no Pora just needs to play safe there. Play off Aslan's contact.
Yeah, maybe the contact was just a little bit, you know.
What a round from Obnox.
I just don't take anything away from him there. Because you don't, again, normally in that scenario, you think you're cooked. Wow. Okay, it's a lifeline for Big. This could be the spark that ignites the side. And it has to be. They were about to be down to, you know, what, facing 11. That's looking almost over in my mind, but this could be the gateway. And BBL, well, 1 round a mistake. It's not the end of the world. They're not facing, you know, the barrel of the gun. They're still okay. And they can recover.
BBL, the early pressures towards A lobby not greeted. It's going to be a bloodbath for Seaside. Lockdown invested here might be able to get punished though. Sure, actually, MDLL going to come through and find the first one here. Swings through, finds the second. The lockdown's still ticking away though. It's still ticking away.
Musashi! One gets detained, but it's Musashi just running forward. Aslan was waiting. Kushner spotted it out. What a chaotic round.
Does that reset Big? Yeah, it does.
Oh, God, the money.
It's literally identical. Well, I say identical to the first map, but when BBL have hit 11 here, they have Big against the ropes in terms of the economy.
They do.
I'm not even sure what the previous map looked like. It might have been a rifle in the mix, maybe an ultimate to work with, but this one is not looking good at all for Big.
No, it's not. And you need some of those lucker shots to come in, right? You need one of those twist and one bangs to come out. And well, BBL, Aslan, he saw MDLL having all the fun. He fancied a bit himself. Musashi has to face the music. That's something Big might be doing in 1 round's time if they don't get it together now. It's 9-12. This is it. BBL finding form in formidable timing. This is heartbreak for Big, but they at least have a bye. But Mike, it's not a great one either.
No, let's see exactly how not sure if any ultimate progress was made on this. Other than the kill coming through from Musashi, I don't know where they sat with what was invested in the previous rounds either. It's a rolling thunder to work with. Musashi won away, that's the saving grace, but light armors here, gaps in the utility as well.
Aslan's walking mid. Okay, Twistem's got him. There's the follow-up. This is huge for them. A necessity, and BBL just fighting. Just taking brawl after brawl, trying to catch them off guard and crush them while they can. I think Twister noted that. Yeah, he absolutely has. That call's gonna be made. And this man wants to do the round himself. He knows what this means to the side. He charges in, Twiston! He wants it. He's gonna get it. Pora, time to back away. It's Big. Now gonna make double digits.
Start giving the ace. Twister now just say, yeah, okay. Nothing left to lose. Let's run it down. He's found 4 already on the round. Pora just wants to deny the clip. That's, I mean, it goes without saying it's a clean round, but that's what you want to do. If Big wanted, it's 3 rounds to find. Like I said, they were tapped out in terms of the finances here. So to keep 5 standing, force out a shield repurchase here and there, the best possible, best possible foundation here to get back into this.
Well,
he's got the blade storm. It's fine, right?
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But ignoring the end of that potentially.
Look at this. The confirmation with the Prowler is just like, yeah, I want that one.
Bit of that. Yep. It's a bit of me, that is. And you got to say, they needed one of those. They needed a Twiston round. They needed someone to just give them that breath, right? That one moment where you can finally breathe in and just have a second to think, okay, we're not out of it yet, right? Because at that point, I think we all knew that Big was starting to... It was looking frayed. It was looking like there were problems, to say the least. So to see them get that moment is a huge confidence boost, or at least just an equalizer, right? Because you look on the other side for BBL, and they're still okay for money to an extent. They can get a buy in this round. That's all that really they'll be looking at for now.
I think the concern being for Big, BBL are encroaching on one of those, 1 in 5, the snowball rounds, right? Look at the ult cycle for them. Yes, there's ults available for Big, but they're the ones that have to invest these to put them in a position to win rounds.
Yep.
BBL, if they can find a favorable opening engagement, it can really spiral out of control quickly.
Absolutely.
Begins.
Going towards currently where Kushner is in that operator. Let's see what he can get done. And it's twisting again. He's picked back up where he left off. Going to force Kushner away as well. That was Aslan just taking a little bit of a glimpse towards him. Rotation does come in. You can see Pora sitting up towards Kevin, and Kushner gonna stand around. That's huge. Denies Twisting any further progress, and Kushner now is he has nothing. He can see nothing. Vision taken, and as is the side, but Aslan's gonna actually slip forward. And aim DLL as well. Big thought they had it for a moment, but not to be. It's down to Laka and Musashi. Has to dip away for a second, try and temper the pace. Musashi's still in the fight, and he can't deliver the shot. Laka tries getting one as well, and none of it's coming through.
The trade-off
is wild.
The trade-off of Rolling Thunders there. Everybody was stunned. You could just see everybody just trying to connect something, and Big actually come out of that suffering more damage. Laka down to 43 HP. Musashi taking a tag in there. Look at the HP bars for BBL. And a man advantage here.
I guess the one silver lining for Big is that they're going to have to play together. You don't want to give that pick away. You obviously don't want to get it, equaled up to a 2v2. So they're going to play as a pack, and they will at least get a plant from this. But what can these two players do? They don't know how much freedom they've been given. They have no idea on the timing. No. They could be literally sitting CT at this point, or in garage. So Big have to make their choices now.
The utility is interesting, actually. Laka still has the aftershock fault line, 1 flash. Pora fault line and 2 flashes. AIM-DLL just got 1 smoke back now. How are Big going to play this, though? They have to find the first.
I don't want them to be passive, but it looks like the timing's wrong. Aslan's there. Laka can't do it. The other Aslan is the one to put the nail in the coffin. And Big can only sit back and watch as playoff streams are crushed.
Yeah, what a performance from BBL today. I said last week I was very impressed. I feel like they really tested Guild, and a couple of real positives to bring away from what's been, I'll say, an underwhelming stage for them. This year, again, just building upon that success, honestly, it's been so great to watch today. Just the willingness to be this proactive, right? When the pressure ultimately is on in these later weeks, BBL really do step up. And it's great to see them deliver here.
No, you're right. And as much as this was a day to see if Big could make it to playoffs, this is a day to see that BBL still have that magic, right?
Yes.
They've still got that spark for sure. And some of these players, again, they find it seemingly late in these runs, but they find it indeed. And there's a choice for you down below as well. Your player of the match for you at home. Been watching along, who stood out to you there. That's where you can get your thoughts through to us, and the desk will confirm who was the one to walk away with that. But Mike, let's kind of briefly summarize here. Anything outstanding from either side that you want to kind of wrap this up on?
No, a great turnaround from Twisted on map 2. I feel like we were a little bit hard on him, maybe not crediting BBL enough for dealing with him. Because like I said, he has been such a prominent factor for Big success where they have really stretched out series. But overall, just really impressed with BBL. Again, for what I saw in the first few weeks to seeing the last 2 weeks now, I restored a little bit of faith of that capability that's on this roster, because it is there. I mean, that's undeniable.
No, I think that's the perfect summary. The capability that this side has that did start to look a little tarnished and marred, and we were wondering if it was going to fade, and it hasn't. They've shown that in this game. However, we're done for game one, but there's a bit of a cracker coming up after this as well. But we have to go to the desk first, who'll be joining you after the break.
We're back with VCT, EMEA, Challengers, Playoffs. Big fans watching at home, we feel your pain. We sold it, we hyped it up all weekend as their big chance to pull off something special. But unfortunately, BBL crash their playoff party. Here I am on the desk. My name's Ian Chambers alongside Kakuka and Lothar. Kakuka, I mean, do you feel for Big here, or are you more impressed by BBL?
I think that Big lost a lot of rounds that they shouldn't have lost on this map. I feel like BBL is just too strong on the retakes. They knew exactly what they were doing, especially on that second half, and they wanted to secure that they're going to be there for LCQ, that nothing is going to be left up for a debate. And for Big, we all believed for at least an entire week that it was possible, and they got so close.
Well, you know, we were building a storyline, and it was a pretty story to follow.
You were living it too.
Yeah, I mean, would have been a nice story, you know? It's like 8 losses in a row, and then suddenly everything turns around. But this map, and overall, this match was one of the sloppiest Valorant I have witnessed so far, because from one moment, I was like, oh, this is actually quite beautiful, and it's like rolling off the tongue when it comes to utility usage, and then suddenly there's the follow-up. There's some lazy pacing coming from one of the teams, and there were moments from both of those teams happening like that, but the biggest problem for Big was the lack of confidence to convert rounds when they have the advantage. On Haven, they had 15 first bloods when BBL had 8, and yet they didn't manage to win most of the rounds, right? Overall, when it comes to the advantages, there were 12 rounds on both of those maps when they had a 5v4 and then failed to convert 7 out of them.
Yep.
Like, there's the bigger problem in Big when it comes to the macro.
Yeah, we was talking about on the first match and on the first map, and it happened on the second as well. BBL know what they're doing. They are not going to deny a trade. They're always going to go for the refrag. They don't care that you take the first kill. Maybe sometimes they overcommit, but they always take the chance.
I mean, one of the rounds where BBL had the 4v1 with Obnox, right? That was one of those rounds where BBL kind of was exposed for the bad fundamentals, and we have seen the overpeak from Power, from CT, and there were some issues like that they can work on, but in general, this BBL that we have witnessed today and last week is a huge upgrade over the course of the weeks that we have seen so far.
It's still, it's this little mistakes that we think they can improve looking into last chance qualifier. Now that they are secure, they're going to have a lot of time. They were mentioning that if they bring in those new agents, it's going to be after the rest of the teams have played them. So we want to see them keep bringing new stuff on the table.
Yeah, I mean, if you're BBL right now, the only way is up, and you can actually be excited about the future. Big, on the other hand, it's looking pretty bleak. Do you think that the magnitude of this occasion maybe got to them a little bit?
I think so, yeah. I think that Kundi was kind of lying a little bit when he thought, yeah, the pressure is not really there. I feel like especially by the end of their attack, they saw themselves as losers again. So BBL, I guess Meg will have to congratulate them, to thank them for securing them for playoffs.
Absolutely. Well, Lothar, right? If any of the Big roster are watching right now, maybe just look away for a moment, because you're going to pick apart some of that final map there.
Actually, less of... okay, we have one round with Big. Okay. Let's turn away from the monitor, okay? I think this was a great beginning of a round. This is round 17, where we have Aslan commit to the... Don't look there. To the Heaven ultimate from the Omen. And he goes in, and look at the minimap right here. We have 3 players literally looking at the Omen's position in Heaven. That is so much presence being pulled away towards this Omen. And Aslan communicates this because he's very specifically aware of how much utility was being used against him. There were flashes, there were stuns. The Omen was also smoking it off. So there's a lot of information for the teammates, but unfortunately, Big is just too slow with the push through the double doors. So they don't really capitalize on the presence that the Omen got them, because look at how fast the rotation is. If this rotation would have been stopped by the presence of the Omen, because there was already pressure done through the double doors, that would allow the Omen to either live a little bit longer and maybe do a backstab, or drag away the players when the pressure was being done on site. So there's a little bit of a dissonance here between the teammates. Now, it's not all about big, because BBL, this was one of those rounds that when I have to like speak about a little bit, let's say about responsibilities of players, right? There's specific roles sometimes that are assigned in a specific round. This is a round that was being set up 100% from the beginning. They give Aslan on Jet this spike. So his job is to go on site, plant, most likely die. If not, well then come back and play post plant. Look at the buy from the team. There's only 2 Vandals here. Everyone else is on pistols. And Aslan is one of those 2 players on a Vandal. Look what his job is this round. He goes onto site with the spike, dashes in, so he doesn't have the dash to go back safely. And because of that, when he's being spammed with utility, he just dies and leaves the Vandal around. And there's no way of like even having it being used, right? And then the last round, I just wanted to call this out because this is an actually beautiful usage utility from BBL here. Pora was actually on point with his breach because every time there was a push ready, he was ready with his ultimate. I don't know how he managed his ultimate economy so well, because every single like one of those pivotal rounds that were happening for Big, he was ready for it. Here we're gonna rewind. Look at this exchange of Rolling Thunders on A side. They're coming literally. We're gonna zoom in on the minimap. Look at the animation of those both Rolling Thunders right now. They like exchanged themselves, you know. And when I was doing the recap of the round when the double door push was being done by Big, Pora also stopped them with the ultimate there and just literally gave 3 assists to the teammates just because easy kills.
And it's a huge difference from the Pora that we saw on stage 1. We were talking about now he's been picking up that IGL role. Sometimes he was dying too soon and not actually playing for the rest of the team. Map 1, he was on the killjoy. How many rounds were he the last man standing and actually making the big decisions? Here on Haven, it was the same.
Well, congratulations to BBL, commiserations to Big. Who was the player of the match? You guys at home have been voting. Who do you think it was, real quick?
I think Aslan.
Yes, of course it was. A well-deserved player of the match.
Yeah, which one?
BBL's.
Okay. I mean, he had some really nasty rounds, I'm gonna lie. But a shout out from me. Lucker had some insane sheriff shots in both maps.
Yeah. It's still, I think that Aslan has been waiting for this one. I think that especially on map 1 is the reason why I would give it, because thanks to him, they were able to close up that one. And on a Jet, he was just having fun. He had a lot of crazy kills, but yeah, there's still those little mistakes, like dashing in with the Vandal and going for the plants, but nothing that he cannot fix.
Just before I move on to the next series, we've gone way too long without mentioning that t-shirt.